Number two, as we speak today, the Senate President has not done 8 years in office. Even if you count the previous one plus the current one, it's not yet up to 8 years. So if we pass the rules that you must do 8 consecutive years before you can be Senate President, it means he has to lead by example by vacating, because he's presiding without acquiring the appropriate qualification.
So Senator Adams Oshiomhole continues his protest against the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, over the new rule which restricts new senators or first-time senators from contesting for principal positions at the House of Senate. This time around, he is calling for the resignation of Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio. Recall that yesterday, while he was protesting against this rule, the Senate President warned him that if he continues to be unruly, he is going to use the Senate rule to get him out of the Senate.
Senator Oshiomhole, for the last time, if you become unruly in the Senate, we will use these same rules to take you out of the Senate. So this is the last warning.
But today, Senator Adams Oshiomhole has criticized and called for Senator Akpabio's resignation. He wants him to resign over the newly amended standing rules that tighten eligibility for leadership position.
Now, let me say why this thing has serious moral crisis. The Senate President became minority leader on his first day in office. On his first day, when they swore in, on his first term, when he got into the Senate, I think in the 9th or 8th Senate, right? He became a principal officer, minority leader. He's not the one presiding and asking us to change those rules such that even somebody who had done 1 term, particularly if you came through the court, you can't even be. Number two, as we speak today, the Senate President has not done 8 years in office. Even if you count the previous one plus the current one, it's not yet up to 8 years. So if we pass the rules that you must do 8 consecutive years before you can be Senate President, it means he has to lead by example by vacating, because he's presiding without acquiring the appropriate qualification. But more offensive to me is that as leaders who are product of ballot, we mustn't make laws to perpetrate anyone. Senator David Mark had the honor and privilege of serving as Senate President for 8 years, not by playing with the rules. Those rules that enabled David Mark to preside for 8 years, what is wrong with them? Those rules that enabled this Senate President to contest for Senate Presidency, what is wrong with them? Why changing it now? Because you think that next time, because last time, this rule of term ranking, that's what you require. And it turned out to be the only one from the South, where it was zone 2. So now he feared that more senators will be eligible, which will broaden the competition base. And now he wants to shock it. If other people are afraid, I'm not afraid. I am only afraid of my Creator. Because I've seen whether you tell the lie, you tell the truth, the date of death, you can't adjust it either forward or backward.
On Tuesday, the Senate, after a closed-door session lasting about 3 hours, amended key parts of its standing orders, specifically Order 4 and 5. These are the key changes. Eligibility for presiding officers or Senate President and Deputy restricted to senators who have served at least 2 consecutive terms, equivalent to 8 years of uninterrupted service, immediately preceding the election/nomination. Nomination must follow strict ranking, starting from Senate President down to second-term senators. Only senators meeting the 2-term threshold are eligible for principal position. So this is where Oshiomhole was, protesting at the top of his voice, because the Senate President is zoned to the south, and this is the turn of the south, which makes, according to Adams Oshiomhole, next year Senate President election more competitive for senators from the south. These changes are widely viewed as an attempt, according to Adams Oshiomhole and many other senators from the south, It's an attempt to shape the 2027 leadership race by limiting competition from incoming or first-term senators, including former governors expected to win senatorial seats in next year 2027 election. Those who have been rumored to be eyeing the Senate President seat are Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma and many others like Ifeanyi Okowa and Omo Agege. Many of them. Critics argue it narrows the field and entrenches incumbents or long-serving members. During proceedings, Adams Oshiomhole raised points of order and protested vigorously. He argued that the new rules creates a serious moral crisis because, according to him, in this video, he said that Akpabio himself became a principal officer, minority leader in his first term as senator at the 8th Assembly, and later emerged as Senate President without the full 8-year consecutive service under the old rules. As of now, according to Adams Oshiomhole, Senator Godswill Akpabio has not accumulated 8 consecutive years, even combining prior and current service. If the new rule, according to Adams Oshiomhole, is applied retroactively in spirit, Akpabio should lead by example and vacate the position, as he is presiding without the appropriate qualification he now seeks to impose. Adams Oshiomhole referenced past leaders like Senator David Mark, who served 8 years under previous rules without manipulation. He accused the changes of being motivated by desire to restrict broader competition. Example from more senators becoming eligible under ranking rules. He declared he was not afraid to speak out, stating he only fears his creator. I just love this man, even though I don't agree with all of his opinion, at the House of Senate. But then this is where it gets interesting and even messy. Senator Godswill Akpabio just made this rule to make sure that he wins re-election. Not all the senators rather at the House of Senate love his style of leadership. His style of leadership has been criticized many times. Many called him rubber stamp senator. He has been called all sorts of names. All this be that the request of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to seek for loans, he doesn't even waste time. Is approved under the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio. So if we are to follow what Senator Adams Oshiomhole said, it means that this man, the Senate President, is not even up to 8 years in office. So if the current rule insists that a senator must serve 8 years before you contest for the office of the Chief Whip or Senate President and other principal positions in the Senate, then he needs to resign, because it was in his first time in office as a PDP senator that he was made the Chief Whip. And then when he came to APC, luckily for him, he became the Senate President. So why is he making rules, making it hard for incoming senators or serving senators to contest for the same position that he got on a platter of gold? There are senators that have been in the Senate for maybe 12 years, some of them 18 years, and Akpabio is presiding over them. He's not been in the Senate for up to 12 years. So this rule to me is made up to frustrate high-ranking senators. The governor of Imo State, current governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma, or Governor Hope Uzodinma, he's a high-ranking senator. Everyone believed that this rule was meant to ensure that Senator Hope Uzodinma, and we know he's going to win, a seat. He's going to win, the House of Senate seat. The rule is meant to frustrate him from becoming a leader in the House of Senate, because he will beat Akpabio hands down. He's a high-ranking senator. He ranks even higher than Akpabio. So that's Akpabio's fear, and he's threatening Senator Adams Oshiomhole that he's going to use the same rule to remove him out of Senate. He can't do that. This is not Natasha Akpoti. This is Senator Adams Oshiomhole, a former governor, a former Labour leader, and he should also know that as a former Labour leader, Adams Oshiomhole is known or used to protesting to get his right. So he's still using that same spirit, that same energy to protest as the House of Senate. So he cannot suppress this one. Here is a former Labour leader who challenged president, who challenged government rules, who protested for the well-being of the people. So Senator Godswill Akpabio must be messing with the wrong senator. This is not Natasha Boti. This is former governor and former Labour leader, Senator Adams Oshiomhole. Well, we'll wait to see what unfolds.